start to the week. A lot of people have today off for Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yeah.
Nice to know we're talking about snow all of a sudden, which feels like a big change.
Yeah, and I went skiing yesterday, and there's definitely more coverage. Yeah, see, when you take these 1 week at a time trips, you get to see like a time
The
lapse.
actual accumulation.
It was a little firm is the word I would use,
Firm.
but we get some
Icy,
snow.
the rest of us would say.
I've learned the skiing nomenclature. A little crunchy, a little firm,
Sure,
you know.
sure.
But there was some snow, so there's that. And we're going to get more tomorrow. And the reason I talked about it this way is because even for me, I left it on Friday. We had a big flooding event, obviously, on Saturday. And so I looked at it yesterday and said, wait a second, this is actually a legitimate little storm for us here tomorrow. So we'll talk about that. It's nice and bright right now. Here's our storm, an elongated area of snow in places that if you live in the north, you think they don't get snow, right? In Tennessee and parts of Mississippi and down into the north part of Louisiana too. Cold air mass, you probably see the headlines on national news about the cold outbreak of air that's come down across the central part of the country that's feeding into this storm. So the question all along, we talked last week about this is either going to be a snow event or is going to miss us. And for a while it looked like it was going to mostly miss us and we're going to get maybe an inch or so. And really over the last 24 hours or so it evolved into a bit more of an amped up storm that had more energy to it. So here we are tomorrow morning, and again we'll be fine until then. And it still looks pretty baggy, pretty elongated. A low, though, eventually closes off here over the Gulf of Maine. And that's the difference, is now when you get a closed off low, you get a little bit more moisture involved into this system during the day tomorrow. It's cold enough for almost all of us to say snow, and especially in the foothills and mountains, see a pretty good liquid to snow ratio. So we squeeze out more snow out of a relatively smaller amount of total moisture. You'll see a map here in a second that'll make that all come together. But the rest of today looks good. Tonight is quiet too, but it's cold. I mean, look at some of these temperatures, 0 into the mountains and probably below briefly in quite a few spots in northern Maine. And then tomorrow morning we set up here, we're in the teens, low 20s. It's cloudy, waiting for our snow. I do think the morning commute will be fine for almost everyone, probably everyone really, unless you're watching from New Hampshire, then maybe there's a little bit of snow in there. But it's during the day this starts to build in, and it gets a little dicey here around 2 o'clock. And this is a situation where sometimes I scratch my head when places do early dismissals in the middle of a storm, like in the meat of the storm. I do think in this scenario, the meat of the storm is around when kids get out of school normally. So 2, 3 o'clock, it's snowing pretty moderately, if not heavily at times, and that continues through the rest of the evening commute. So tomorrow evening's commute could be a little bit dicey, and then the system moves out after 9 or 10 o'clock. Now, you kind of maybe laugh at this map because it's so basic, but Brian, you're not supposed to. But sometimes it's like an Occam's razor situation. Sometimes the solution is there. It's the one in front of you. There's no reason to get any cuter than this. 3 to 6 inches across basically the entire state, and then just lesser amounts across far northern Maine and into Vermont. But the moisture shield here looks pretty uniform, and the extra moisture along the coast I think is offset by the higher ratios inland. So I think it just makes sense to do it that way. We're watching another storm for Friday night into Saturday. At this time, that's out to sea, but this one was out to sea for a couple of days too. So we'll continue to watch that one. In between, it is cold, especially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll actually keep our snow, which is a new thing for us. And we're into a kind of a cold period here. I mean, look, it's mid to almost late January. So yeah, it's going to be cold, but we haven't been doing a lot of that. You see overnight lows in the single digits in a lot of spots. Saturday, if we miss the storm, will be very cold, and as will Sunday. So we'll watch this, but I get this vibe, especially with today being a holiday, this is going to sneak up on people a little bit. I'm not sure they're aware of it. And so
snow coming.
So here we are.
And yes, because I hear you agonize over the map sometimes about the zones and where to do. So to just have a swath of
honestly,
okay.
I considered 3 to 5 and then 4 to 6, but I mean, come on.
At that point, you're kind of
so I think we're good.
Someone will be out there with a ruler, though.
Yeah, I know.
Keith, thank you.